Well, we are in the pepper house, and this house is getting really heavy with fruit. So it is just constantly needing work. So I am finally going through and stringing everything up. I've got this whole bell pepper side done, and now I'm working on the jalapeno side. I'm gonna flip you around and kind of show you what we're doing. So the first phase is to string everything, and the next phase is gonna be to go ahead and clean it up. I like to kind of keep everything really clean on the bottom and work my way up and take off any extra branching that's going to take away energy. We're trying to keep all the fruit up against the main stalks or branches. Most of these are between 2 to 4 branches. I'm playing with different methods. So I'm going to show you kind of what we're working with. So this is the bell pepper side. As you can see, lots of stringing. This is where putting those bars in for your trellis system really pays off. You have got to be able to support these plants one way or another. And in my experience, trying to support them from the ground is not very effective. So I like to have stuff hung in the air so that I can support them from the air. And so this is kind of what it looks like. And we're pulling them really different directions, trying to spread them out and use the space that we have. The fruit is starting to get heavy and abundant, so these guys are wanting to topple over pretty good if you don't throw good support on them. Playing with 2 branch to 4 branch and trying to see what kind of branching method gives us the most consistent mature fruit. You can see we're kind of trying to spread that plant out, and then I'm going to take like all of the bottom leaves out here pretty quick, and really any sort of sucker branches. I'll show you what I mean. So here we're pursuing a 2 branch. I'll pull you back. So this is a 2 branch, so we come up 1 branch, 2 branch. So we'll come in here and pull all of this sort of stuff off. So there's quite a bit of branching in here that we'll take off. Like this guy, so my main branch runs right here. So this one will come off, this will come off, this one up here will come off. And we want just this fruit that's right up here against this main branch. That's really what I'm aiming for. You can see down here. And then as far as trellising the strings, my string will come down and I'm gonna hook down to the bottom. This is how we do it on all of them. And then, you know, about every foot on the way up, they're gonna get another attachment. And that's really gonna hold them really sure and sturdy. And just in my experience, it's been the best way to hold these plants upright and their branches upright. And when we're tying them like this different directions, we're kind of able to move the branches along a string, and we direct that string so that those branches aren't growing into each other as much as possible. It's not perfect because we do have a lot of branches in this small area, but we're able to have some control over that. And even once they're heading a certain direction, you can make adjustments as you go. So I've gotten a few jalapeno beds done already. I'm gonna kind of work this away from this fan so you can hear me. But here's like a good example, same sort of thing. So 3 main branches on this one. I can tell because I have 3 clips, and we're pulling 1 off that way, 1 straight up, and then 1 out that direction there. And this variety I believe this is El Jefe. These jalapenos are finishing right about this size. So you can tell right here, but we're starting to get that nice little cracking. And that's when I'm aiming to pull most of these. But you can tell lots of fruit on these plants, but they're really a thin stalked plant, which has actually been kind of helpful as they bend. You can see here's a bed that's just fallen all over the place because that fruit is so heavy. But unlike the bell peppers, these branches aren't breaking. They're just kind of bending and they're kind of flexing. But we need to get all that cleaned up really just in the last few days. All this happened. Some of them are coming completely over like this here. So we're gonna get this whole thing done today. And moving forward, it'll be a lot easier. But once your main support strings are in, like right here on these last two beds, then you're just clipping on the way up, and everything is pretty sure and sturdy. But look at just lots of fruit on these guys here. They're doing really well. So that's the pepper house update. We're continuing with stringing, trellising, clipping, and then after all that's done, we'll do the pruning, and I'll kind of show you how I do that. And this is the jalapeno side all done. No more floppy plants. I love it when they're standing up like this. Makes me feel a lot better about life. See, we still got a lot of flowers popping on here. I'm going to try to push these plants for a few more months. It is August 1 today, so pretty certain we'll get one more, but possibly two more out of them. We're not going to heat this house, so I'm going to start prepping something to replace all these here directly. Beautiful. And then the bells. Just some nice looking fruit on these. They're not giant, but they're good sized bells. See, they're handfuls. Really nice, hard, thick outer. You know, there's just lots of fruit in here, so I'm pretty happy with these. Just another beautiful day in the garden, and it's really nice to get all these all strung up. I do not like them flopping all over. So that's how we do our trellising in here. And as they get bigger, see, there's probably one of these I can clip. Let's see here. Here's one I didn't even do the second. So yeah, we'll just start clamping these on. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Not a huge fan of these new clips we got here. My other ones I could do with one hand, but these guys, they're a little flimsy. Right at a little growth crook right here. Holds it up nice, and we'll just do it all the way up. And some of these are, like this one here, that one's almost 4 feet tall from the top of the bed. So you can get a gauge on the height. So they're pretty tall. This variety here, this is the Jedi, is quite a bit taller, and then my bell peppers over here This is Sprinter, and they're quite a bit taller. I have Ollie down in that corner, not quite as tall. But this Sprinter is getting a bit taller. The fruit has come in a bit later though. So it's been an interesting mix. Well, that's pretty much it for in here. Time for me to go home.